let's see what happens if we just do what he says. Right?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
No, I didn't, Karma. This is my first time ever playing. I just booted it up. I fired it up. No demo, just I have the game on Steam. I booted it up, and I've been doing exactly what he told me not to do. I made him upset, and let's see if I go fast enough. I'm upsetting him too because, like... Oh, cool, Karma. Thank you for the tip. It's interesting, like, I just want to look around and explore, and that messes the game up. Like, you're not supposed to take any time or dilly-dally. Like, apparently the kind of player that they want for the story is someone who doesn't really look at the world around them and just, you know, very, very quickly and efficiently moves through.
Open doors,
so let's do it.
Door on his left.
Fine. Let's just be, yep, we'll just run through. Like, we're just diligently trying to do this really fast.
Yet there was not a single person here.
Tips
either.
for not getting fired.
Feeling a wave of
Talk less. Do
Stanley
unbelievably amazing work.
His boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
How to solve a dispute with a coworker. Let it ball up inside you, then take it out passive-aggressively on other coworkers, then resent coworkers. Oh man, this is so hilarious. Using slides to assure employees that everything is okay. Make sure your slide has a slick blue graphic in the header. Everyone is unique. You most of all. Thank you. Oh, that's interesting, Karma. So they had to allow you to, which you're right, Steam does do that. You can have both the demo now and...
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Now I can go down. Let's go down. Uh-oh, it's glowing red. You're right. They do allow you to have both the demo and the game file now. So they didn't until this game. That's hilarious.
But Stanley just couldn't do it.
There's a car.
He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post
I know,
during
boss
work
dear.
hours. He might be fired for that.
I apologize.
And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all?
Yeah.
None of it made any logical sense.
True.
And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went?
Very true.
And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange.
Wait a
This
minute.
can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
I'm lucid dreaming.
Then he
I'm
imagined
flying.
himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared.
Ooh,
It
starfield.
was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid?
Yeah.
And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
I don't know.
Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought.
That's right.
And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself? believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself. Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been.
That's all we want.
My life is normal. I am normal.
Yes.
Everything will be fine.
Everything.
I am okay.
That's right. Very calming. I'm awake.
Stanley began screaming.
Oh no.
Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I?
Oh boy.
And everything went black.
Yeah. That wasn't a good ending.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Ah. Mariella.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk.
Oh my God.
And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Boy. Wow. No, that wasn't Buster. I'll tell you what, Crispy, I gotta say, I'm excited for Hogwarts Legacy 2. I can't wait. I'm hoping that
all of his co-workers were gone.
Marvel Midnight Sun is good too.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Now, something interesting to wonder would be, does this beginning portion of the game ever change? Like, do I ever get the ability to do anything different? Before we get there. Karma, that is so awesome that there's so many different experiences for the game. So you can play, like, you watch the trailers, you play the demo to get the full experience. That's fantastic. I had no idea. I was just told to play the game. Do what was happening at the first ending, you say. The first ending was when I was, like, what? Above the game? Like, try to get up into the ceiling, you mean?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I've seen ladders, but I can't jump. Just pause in this room. Don't move. Oh, you guys were saying about that. Aurora mentioned that. Don't move as a choice. Okay. Oh, why the amount of cost for games? Oh, it's horrible, Crispy. But to be honest, like at this point, I very rarely buy games when they're brand new. I have Xbox Live and, buy games when they're on sale, but yeah, they're really expensive, without question. I guess I try to play cheap ones, and if I want to play an expensive one, I just wait until it's cheaper. I don't know. But, what's interesting is, like, even games now, if they're on the PlayStation 5, I'm just waiting, by the way, to see if something happens in this room if I don't move. Even games now, like being $70 for PlayStation 5, at some times. And I remember back when Super Nintendo games were $70, $80. And that was the price in the 90s, not adjusted for inflation. Like, the price has actually somewhat gone down. Don't move the camera either? Okay, Alex, I won't. That's interesting, Karma. Wow, what a cool, concept. It's a small team, but there's a lot going on in this game, and I love, the commentary that it's making. Get closer to the door. Okay. So I'm trying to reenact, I suppose, what Alex is suggesting. What we saw at the end of the first ending that I got, where I was, hovering above the character, and the narrator was kind of crying because I wasn't making a choice. Will this do anything? I don't know if I need to, if the camera needs to be pointed differently, if I need to be frozen in place for longer, but I still haven't, if we're talking about things to do, like Bastier laughed at, I haven't actually just gone where you're supposed to go. I haven't said the password into the door in the boss's office. I haven't done any of that yet. So I saw the ending where I kind of went insane and was found by a woman dead on the ground. I saw the ending where I became, disconnected. Oh, man. Yeah, exactly, Alex. Some of those Super Nintendo games, I know my buddy got Final Fantasy III, brand new the first day, and I want to say that was just outrageously expensive, maybe $90 or something, which in today's money would have been $150. Yeah, N64 was super expensive. I didn't get that until late. I didn't buckle down and buy that until I wanted to play GoldenEye with my friends. And I just went and I bought it in 4 controllers. Okay, I'm going to go to the left. And now I'm going to actually go to the boss's office.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office.
Oh, I can save this guy.
Hoping he might find an answer there. Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Okay, never mind. I guess this guy isn't really trapped in here. But I was able to open that door, which is really interesting. I haven't been able to really open a door
Stanley
at all in this
upstairs
game.
To his boss's office.
All right, let's check it out. Let's go up. Oh, the executive bathroom. This sign wasn't there before. It sure is. Yeah, I played my first Harvest Moon on the Game Boy Color. I couldn't go in the bathroom. I couldn't go here. Oh, the office is different.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this.
Wow.
What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that is
Sorry about that. I had to
keeping from him.
go kill the bots.
And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845.
Ah.
But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
That's true. How did I know that?
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck.
Sheer luck.
Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
You know, what's interesting is, like, I wonder if I could use the password, it was like, what, 115, that they gave me from the previous ending to do something different right there. Yep. This is totally like the portal, like you're out of the game into the, you know, the cake is a lie kind of moment. Oh dear. Very safe elevator.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar.
I do.
It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him?
Don't know.
This question would not go unanswered for long.
Let's find out. Oh God. It broke. What is this? Why is that spray painted on the ground? This is absolutely
Stanley
creepy.
walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Mind Control Facility. But look, then it says escape. Alright, now I have some actual choices. I don't want to go to the Mind Control Facility. I just don't feel like it.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Oh, that's all we can do. I'm not going out in the Mind Control Facility.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
This is so funny. I love this.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
That is what I'm doing. I am willing. Let's go. Yep. All right, here we go. You know, it's like Pokemon. Oh. You gotta catch them all.
And Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise. It reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever.
Aww.
Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Boy, the narrator's getting really judgmental.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Other narrator, indeed, there's a woman. And there were some Tetris shapes over here, and it says, oh, the Stanley Parable. How about that?
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever.
There you go.
What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
We don't know.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Wow. So it's an existential game about free will and look at this. These are the assets of the game. Here's the nature paintings. Here's Stanley's computer. It's a museum. This is so good. This blueprint shows the office from the beginning of the game. The path from Stanley's office to the two doors was the first part of the game that was built. Sections have been added and altered throughout development, though the core layout remains almost identical to the first iteration. Wow, it's a nice, fun romp. The pacing of this opening section was important to get right. This corridor has been moved and altered to make sure the player reaches the two doors in a good time. This is so funny. The two doors. The set of two open doors was the very first concrete piece of the Stanley Parable's design. Once this room was created, the rest of the game emerged as an extension of it, an exploration of the contradiction this room posed. Right. Here's the office. The different kinds of office, I guess. Carpeting. Button sounds. A selection of sounds used throughout the game when buttons are pressed. Each sound is a mix of a keyboard stroke and a synthesized tone. Huh. Oh, here's the credits. Fantastic, which we already saw. Office computers. Somebody's playing solitaire on... This looks like Windows 3.1 to me. It's fantastic. Boss's office. Screens from the development of the boss's office. So we saw this middle iteration. Yep, there's the clock. Yeah, Aurora, this museum is awesome. An early version of the underground portion of the game. There's the mind control facility. Now, we went to the Escape Employee Lounge. Yes, I remember it fondly. Here's the mind control place. Which, or maybe not, I didn't go here. Narration outtakes. Kevin Brighting, the voice of the narrator, recorded dialogue for the entire game roughly 3 separate times over the 2 years of development. These are clips from early takes that were not used in the final game. Oh, I can hear them kind of. They're hard to hear. I don't know where I have to go to hear them more fully. Anyway, that's fun. All right. Yeah, this is definitely a game that you just want to experience, like, at least once in your life. It's so wild. Freedom ending. This was the very first incarnation of the freedom ending in the game's alpha. Wow, I haven't got that ending yet. The countdown desk. One of the desks from an early version of the countdown ending. Haven't gotten that. Freedom ending. This is the freedom ending as it existed in beta. Monitor room elevator. For a time, the elevator in the monitor room could go up or down with freedom above and countdown below. We abandoned this when players found it too difficult to remember what was up and what was down and placed the two endings together instead. Interesting. Oh, I see, Bostier. Kind of, maybe... the countdown room. Zending. The ending known as Zending. Boy, we didn't get that one. We have a lot of endings to go. We didn't find these levers. Zending model. We didn't go in here. The game is now paused. Beat the game again. Resume the game options. Frustrating for everyone. Yeah, here it is. Beat the game again. That must be what we need to do. That's how I did it, Karma, so I'm going to have to do it the right way, because I just kept doing the opposite. Because I was like, I will not do what you want me to do, and that was probably a mistake. 1 option, 2 options, 1 option, event. Okay, what about this? The flow of hallways following the first 2 doors was important to get right since players will replay them so many times. We discussed a number of designs, but ultimately it was simplest version that won out. Right. Obey, disobey. Narrator emails. After the second trailer we sent out, we asked people to email the narrator for questions. While we had initially planned to use these in further promotional materials, we never found the perfect use for them. Here are a selection of those emails. From New Result, subject, wow, congratulations. These are just random emails for people, huh? I appreciate the previous Stanley game as a work of art and a standalone title. I appreciate the credit given to art, which is why I'm eager to see a sequel, prequel, standalone companion game. Greetings, omnipotent voice. I wanted to tell you I liked the Stanley Parable as much as I liked seeing a humorously small badger in swim trunks. Hilarious. Alright. And let's see. Game design mock-up. We went this way. Okay. Let's check out over here where it says 427. This is Stanley's office. Oh, these are different layouts. Yep. Oh, you can't get inside, though. It's such an interesting experience, like, when you're playing... I mean, I guess most first-person kind of narrative exploration games are like this. Oh, look.